Hello, everyone, and welcome back to round 3 of the AXR, the AquepaX Racing GT World Endurance Championship Season 3. We're here at what looks like to be a sunny circuit de Sainte-Croix, or Sainte-Croix, whatever you want to call it. Good day, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. I'm Noir and Terrace of Clockwork Motorsport, again serving as your commentator for Stint 1. And it's been a bit since the last time we were racing here. I think 3 weeks it was. Looking at the calendar, yeah, it was 3 weeks. Blue Moon Bay was in March 9th. It's already March 30th, or March 31st actually, here where I live in quite sunny Osaka, Japan as well. Time check 4:42 in the morning, but obviously that's way too early compared to what these guys have in racing time, as I think the lobby did just get reset in preparation for qualifying. And we have a grid of quite a few cars this weekend compared to the previous 2 rounds. We only have 8 confirmed cars in attendance right now, or at least before the start of qualifying. However, I was informed by AXR Group prior to the start of the stream that unfortunately the number 5 TDR Design Racing BMW M6 has dropped out from competition. Unfortunate, since they were doing so well in round 1 in Laguna Seca, but obviously they struggled last time out in Blue Moon Bay. But it's unfortunate to lose a car so early in the season. However, we have 2 cars missing from the lineup right here, as we don't have the number 701 Toyota Autosport Aston Martin Vantage, and I think we're also missing the number 313 Racing, I'm sorry, not 313, number 77 Racing the Machine GR Supra. It's gonna be a field of 8 strong right now going into qualifying in a few minutes. But let's look at who we have on track right now. We have AXR Splash, Mr. Slowly for AquepaX Racing, Mr. Slowly for Full Throttle Racing in the AMG, Beetlejuice for Scuderia Stosio Mili, Fred Dude in the other AquepaX Racing AMG, Opa 89, very strong here, looking very strong here in the 313 Supra, Speedy Man Charles in the Scuderia Chiara Mazda RX Vision, Caliber 50 for SBM Speedbot Motorsports, in looking to be the dominant entry this season. They are on a 4-race win streak right now. SBM team Renmeister, and who did I miss? And we have HM Durspieth for Herman Motorsport. That looks like to be the 8 cars here at Sainte-Croix. Sainte-Croix, let's talk about this track. Sainte-Croix A, to be specific, this layout that we use. It's a really wide street circuit, so it doesn't really feel like one until you get to like the bumps, you know, the elevation changes that aren't usually seen in, you know, closed circuits, and as well as how close the guardrails are to a track itself. Most important thing about Sainte-Croix in general, regardless of the layout, would be carrying momentum throughout the track. It's a wide track, but there's a lot of road to use, but getting just the right amount of cornering speed on entry on every single corner of the track is usually what leads to the most competitive lap time around here. Obviously, car balance plays a huge role in that, and given the time interval we had in between rounds, pretty sure our drivers are well prepared for this challenge. Now, layout A is I think it would be the mid-length layout of Sainte-Croix. Layout B being the short one, and layout C being the longest one. As we come up here to the hairpin that leads to the left-hander onto the bridge. The left-hander onto the bridge here is a bit tricky because it's off camber left, and there's a bump right at the end of it as we see caliber 50 just going through there right now. The car getting a bit of compression there, and so with everyone else coming into that corner. Again here with Speedy Man Charles right under the transition. That's going to be tricky for our drivers to navigate, because if you lose the rear going into that corner, it's really going to cost you time. Riding along now, caliper 50, we're going through the long right-hander. You want to keep not close to the inside, but not too far out wide here. Set yourself up for the left-hander for the penultimate corner here, essentially. Let's get a good run here. Get the car set up just right. Don't hit the wall. Run down to the start-finish line. And for most of these drivers, I don't think you'd want to have too much aero in the car because of how many straights there are that would see your car lose lose time just because of having too much drag on it. But at the same time, you'd want just enough aero to tackle the high-speed corners around this place, and there's quite a lot of them. Right now, it looks like the field is starting to spread out a bit. Let everyone can do their laps without getting impeded by the dirty air in front of them. That's also, I think, one of the factors that's going to play into the race, is because there's a lot of high-speed corners in this track. There's going to be also a lot of dirty air being generated from the cars running up front, so it's going to be a challenge for drivers that are in the chasing positions. Because the closer you get to the car in front, the more difficult it gets to follow through, especially some of these high load corners. And we can already see tire wear being an issue here. It's only been the outlap, and you can already see quite the noticeable amount of tire wear. I'm not going to be surprised if drivers would jump into the pits at least once before the end of this session. That's also a really, really long lap. I did say layout A is the mid-length layout, but even so, it's a really, really long track. Because Sainte-Croix A is 6 miles. It's 9.4 kilometers. compared to like we go from a really quick lap of Blue Moon Bay to quite the long lap here at Sainte-Croix, as we have Caliber 50 setting a representative lap time here of a 3:01. Red Dude with a 3:03, Beetlejuice with the 3:03. Only a tenth separating the two of them. Splash in the 3:03s. Mr. Slowly in the 3:08s. Opa in 3:03. So it looks like most of the field is gonna be in the 3:03s. Even Speedy Man Charles and the other Mazda is gonna be in the 3:03s. So 1.3 seconds already the advantage in lap time here for the SBM boys. Now, Sainte-Croix is a 3-hour race, so the race itself is only going to be 90 minutes, which, judging by this kind of lap time, we're only going to be seeing 30 or so laps. Yeah, 30 or so laps from everyone. Pretty low lap count compared to Laguna Seca and Blue Moon Bay. Looking down the field now on what we're looking at exactly here is how does tire wear look like for the field. Again, Speedy Man Charles in the Scuderia Chiara looks like they have better tire wear compared to the other Mazda of Team SBM. It looks like it's going to be quite a significant amount of tire wear difference between them. Now, Beetlejuice, the AMGs looks like they're getting their tires loaded a bit more than the Mazdas, which is a bit to be expected, I guess. I'm assuming a Mazda is still lighter, even on BOP, than the other GT3 entries, especially particularly against the Mercedes AMG. Splash in the third Mazda RX Vision looks like it has the best one out of the 3 cars as we look back here. It definitely looks like Splash has a bit better tire wear than Charles even, or at the very least they're very close, but still better than Calibers. Opa in the Supra. Again, a car that's known to save tires, or at least be gentle on its tires. Right? Looks like he has quite around the same tire wear as Splash and Speedy Man Charles. Their speed in the Aston Martin looks like he's got a lot more. Mr. Slowly, this is the one I'm worried about the most. The FTR AMG, only 3 laps in. Looks like it's going to be another difficult weekend for them with that front left tire wear and carrying damage throughout qualifying. I'm not sure why you don't pit and repair that. You got enough time to do that. Take new tires and do one more lap. So it's really costing themselves here. They're in P8 with a lap time of 3:08. And the next car up in front is the Herman Motorsport car with just 3 seconds ahead of them, 3.3, and sitting in a 3:05.5. But everyone else looking like they're sitting in the low 302s, high 302s, low 303s. Supras look like they're struggling a bit here. Opa, normally a very fast driver here, one of the fastest Supras in qualifying, is sitting in P6 with a high 303. Caliber even improved his time to a 301 dead, looking like he's gonna be in 3 minutes by the end of this session. And I mean, I'm guessing they got enough pace to do a sub 3 minutes in the race. But it looks like tire wear is just starting to kick in a bit here for the number 63 Mazda. 8/10ths down on his personal best. Coming down the bridge. Like, comparing the fastest two cars right now on track, the AMG looks like it just has a bit more front left tire wear than the SBM Mazda. The tire wear did look to be quite worse in the 63, but with the pace advantage that it has, we've rarely seen it be a factor in the race. Well, I do remember seeing the Scuderia Chiara Mazda chasing down the SBM car when Caliber started to go off. As we see here, Scuderia Chiara's AMG RX Vision GT have front left and front aero damage. I don't think, unlike earlier with FTR, I don't think Charles has enough time to get it repaired and go back out for another flying lap. I think he's gonna have to settle for this position here with the 3030 and... Ooh. I thought it was a 15-minute qualifying. Oh. Okay. So a bit weird here. I'm guessing the rules must have changed somewhere. Because I'm looking at the rule book right now and it says 15 minutes qualifying. But anyway, we have... That's qualifying done. So we have Caliber 50 with another pole with a 301026. Red Dude in the AquepaX Racing AMG with a 3026, 1.6 seconds behind. It's a really close battle here between 2, 3, and 4. As Opa actually comes back clutch with the 3027 and Splash in the other, splitting the AquepaX cars with Splash in the second RX Vision GT3 with a 3027. Beetlejuice ends with a 3030. Speedy Man Charles in 6, suffering that damage, unable to improve the lap time with a 30306. Dirt Speed held on for 7th with a 3052, and somehow, with that damage, Mr. Slowly improves to a 3058. Now I wonder if FTR could have gotten at least ahead of Herman Motorsports, seeing as they had enough time to replace the damage. Well, I thought it was until suddenly the qualifying actually ended. I have to get clarification about the rules here with series organizer Groot. While we're racing here, the countdown's already begun. Let's see here for... It's a standing start here because it's 10-1. Here we go. Oh, a great start there for Beetlejuice. Already up to P3. Has the advantage in the inside lane. Will he get it? Against Opa, he definitely did. Beetlejuice up to P3. What a great start. And also, the FTR car are slowly up to P4. The AMG is getting a rocket start here, while the the Mazdas look like they lagged a bit at the start. Again, obviously with the exception of Caliber, who still keeps his lead. It's Caliber, Fred Dude, Beetlejuice, Slowly, Splash, Charles, Opa, and Durspeed. Opa here getting shuffled down the field. He started P4 and is now down to 7th, getting passed by Speedy Man Charles. It looks like everyone's starting on softs as well. So no discrepancies here when it comes to tire selection. Caliber now pulling away right on the word go. He's already 1.7 ahead of Fred Dude in second on the run up to the kink before the bridge. Meanwhile, it's close racing here from second all the way. It's a trade. It's second all the way to 5th. With 3 AMGs following close behind. It's a pack of 3 AMGs here. The AquepaX, Stocio Mealy, and Full Throttle Racing's cars all in the line here ahead of the AquepaX Racing Mazda. But I wonder what happened to Opa. The Super didn't look like he got a really bad start. I guess it just got mugged by everyone here, because I remember looking at the start, Opa was stuck in the middle because Stocio Mealy car of Beetlejuice was up at his inside because of a really good start of that AMG. But then before even the end of Sector 1, it was already shoveled down to 8th or down to 7th. And we're getting confirmation now that it looks like the qualifying time was set mistakenly. It was set, I think, to 10 minutes. And everyone crossed the line before the session ended. Which is why it went all the way up to 12 minutes. But it was supposed to be 15. Oopsies. Well, we'll move on from that now because the race is already underway. We're already here in lap 2. And Caliber already has a 2.4 second lead over the rest of the field. Meanwhile, the battle is heating up now. Fred Dude also starting to gain some distance from the pack here as Beetlejuice is looking like he's holding up slowly in 4th. It's about to become a train here, but the problem is Beetlejuice is effectively out of slipstream range to Fred Dude in front of him, so he's going to be vulnerable to Slowly and the cars behind, because Charles is also starting to close the gap to that pack. Also, Opa is right there with him, as well as Durspeed. So it's going to be an interesting battle to see once they get to the back straight here before the kink. And Mr. Slowly really getting right up close to Beetlejuice's rear here. A good exit should give... Oh, and Beetlejuice also starting to lose the rear a bit there. Will that open the door for FTR to be in the podium? Indeed it does. Oh, Beetlejuice not giving up though, but Slowly has the inside, thinks better of it this time around. Will he take the inside of the next corner? That he does. He jumps down the inside, but Beetlejuice just has enough overspeed on the outside to keep that position. Meanwhile, Splash losing the rear a bit there, as we saw on the side of the screen. Drop back a bit from the 2 AMGs up front. Oh, and looks like Slowly's lining up a move here at the end of the bridge. That he does. Gets up to P3. Now moving to chase after Fred, who's already 2 seconds ahead of him. And Caliber already stretched the gap to 3.4 here. Splash looks like he gained a bit of time here by the end of the bridge and is keeping a steady gap to Charles behind. He's got Slipstream in front, so he doesn't really have to worry too much about being exposed here. And Opa's still down here in 7th, like... Yeah, we've seen most of the moves come from... So far, we've seen all of the overtaking moves have come from Sector 3, pretty much. It's a back straight all the way up to the bridge. People get a good run on that long right-hander at the end of Sector 2. If they get enough overlap, they can make a move down the bridge, but as we saw earlier with Slowly and Beetlejuice, you can still hold it around the outside for the hairpin after that. But then at the bridge, yeah, getting the inside line is pretty important there. As Slowly already pulling away from Beetlejuice here, almost 7/10. Splash closer to him than he is to Slowly. So it looks like it looks like next time around it might be the AXR Mazda looking like they can make a move. Oh, again unsettled there before the long right-hander. Would that open the door for Splash here? Would that be all that he needs? However, Splash also losing the rear end here earlier as well, so both cars would need to keep the rear end stable if they want to make a good move here. Splash looking to stick down the inside. Thinks better of it than that kink, but it might go for it to the hairpin if it gets a good run up here. Not quite close enough, so he's electing to follow into the bridge. Maybe he can line up a move at the bridge earlier like FTR did, but I think Beetlejuice would be wise to that by now. He could cover the inside essentially. But Beetlejuice just holds on. Could be possible, like Beetlejuice just has a bit more straight line speed than the AequepaX Mazda. Like normally the Mazda would be marginally better down the straights over the AMG, but maybe this time, oh, makes a move down here in the penultimate corner, down the inside, gets a cutback here from Beetlejuice, but it's Splash coming out in front. As I was about to say, maybe the AXR RX Vision GT is aero compared to the rest of the field, or at the very least compared to the AMG that he just overtook. As Speedy Man Charles now is getting closer to this pack as well as Opa. Look, Beetlejuice already gaining a lot of ground down before turn 1 with Slipstream. Does he retake the place? Not quite. But Opa does. Opa overtakes Charles down turn 1. Could it be that these two Mazdas are running a bit more downforce, which makes them vulnerable on the straights here? Open with a great move down the inside of turn 1, moves up to P6. Charles now down to P7. Quite a safe distance away from Dershpeeth in 8th, but still. Looks like these two Mazdas, the Scuderia Chiara and the AequepaX Racing cars, looks like they're really quick down here in the technical sections. But they suffer quite a lot when they get to the back straight, especially now. What we have to see here is Splash is all alone with slowly 2.5 in front of him, and Beetlejuice still close behind, only 0.6 of a second down behind him. He needs to get a good run out of this right-hander if he wants to defend the position with momentum here. I don't think the Mazda has the raw straight line speed, especially against Slipstream. Missing the apex by a bit there, but looks like he carries just enough momentum to keep that gap, and it's actually extending that gap. And Opa got a half a second penalty, I'm gonna guess, from going way too inside the kink. So that's gonna hand the position back to Charles whenever they hit the penalty marker, which I think is after the penultimate corner on this track. Meanwhile, it looks like Mr. Slowly is actually gaining ground on Fred Dude. But the tire wear difference is gonna come in play sooner or later, given that this has been a pattern for Full Throttle Racing, in particular Mr. Slowly here, to have worse tire wear than practically the rest of the field. It'd be down to a lot of things, maybe setup, or it could be that Mr. Slowly here is playing on a controller. As we hit the penalty marker here, Opa is about to lose position to Speedy Man Charles. But he's still close enough that with a good run out the final corner, he can get him back down turn one like he did the lap before. But he goes a bit too wide there, might have hit the wall with the door, so no damage. As we look here, it looks like, yeah, Mr. Slowly is already starting to lose Simon Fred Dude. It was 2 seconds after the bridge. Now it's 2.4 coming into turn 3. We haven't looked at this car for a while. The orange car just trekking, really. And it looks like Caliber might have been taking better care of his front tires by the looks of it. The rears are used up a lot more in this car, and it's certainly in a much better shape compared to the front left tire of the AMG behind it. So SBM probably in cruising mode right now, sitting on a 3:07. So it's looking more likely that the SBM crew might be able to get him a lap time under 3 minutes by the time this is all over. And while Fred Dude is bit by bit stretching the gap to Slowly, the gap between third and fourth is also increasing here. As Splash is starting to gain distance from Beetlejuice's AMG behind him, and Charles is looking to fend off Opa. But I feel like Opa is still within a shot here of making a pass on the Mazda if he gets close enough. The tire was looking as expected here for the forward bias cars. The front tires are getting worn a lot more. Their speed somehow ending up with more tire wear than I think Slowly does, or at least at the very same level. There's a little bit better tire wear compared to the FTR car here on the Aston Martin Vantage, running steady laps at high 304s, low 305s, and a 305.9 on the last lap. I think he made a mistake somewhere, but he's looking like he's on for another 305, at the very least a low 305. Really, everyone from second to 7th place is running in the 303 range. Some of them would get into 302s in a fast lap, maybe with some slipstream help, but on average they'll be running 303 laps, while Caliber up front is running, you know, average of a 301. That's 2 seconds worth of an advantage here every single lap, so no wonder SBM Caliber could very well be cruising right now, just looking after those front tires, because the rear tires on that car, they're looking pretty used right now, especially compared to the other Mazdas of Charles and Splash. And again, being rear limited might mean he's getting more rotation as the grip balance goes to the front here for Caliber 50. It might just be how they wanted to do the car. Meanwhile, Fred dude must have made a mistake somewhere, because he's lost time. Slowly, I was about to say he was gaining time on Fred dude, but now he's lost a lot of time. AXR Splash gets past him as he goes under the gravel, goes wide out of that long right-hander. Might have tried to keep too much. I don't think it's tire wear, but it could be because of how worn that front left is. Maybe it just didn't want to turn on that right-hander. Ended up going wide. Almost spun into the gravel, but kept the wheel straight somehow. And he's lost 2 positions to Splash and Beetlejuice, because he lost the position to Splash on the straight and lost the position to Beetlejuice before the kink. And I think he's still carrying a bit of dirty tires here, so it might be another chance for Charles here to get close. Well, that's going to take some pressure off of Fred dude in second here, as he's now looking at a 4-second gap that was previously a 2-second gap. It looks like Fred dude made a mistake somewhere, because he's actually 1.1 seconds off pace from his personal best on this lap. Normally that gap between, well, before FTR went off, that gap looked like it was looking to be in the 3-second range instead of 2 seconds flat. And slowly dives into the pits. No damage in that car, but that front left is finished. He's spinning at the end of lap 6 here. Quite an early stop, I would say. It's only 18 and a half minutes. And that's Stint. So does Durspeed. I think that front left on that asset is also done. But by the looks of things, 19 minutes. We put them at what, 3-4 stops? I was looking at a couple more stops here for Mr. Slowly and Durspeed with how early they pit, unless they get on the mediums to get more mileage out of there. And Caliber looking like he's using the fronts a bit more now, with the rears on the limit. I think at the very least what you want to do is make 25 minutes on one set of tires. So that you could make Make it for what, 2 stops instead of 3. So 2 more laps for them to make 25 minutes. But it'd be interesting to see if they could make it that far, especially the top 2 here. I think they could make another lap. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can make 2 more. There's definitely no issue with fuel here. That this track is tire limited more than anything. I think it'll be worth it to go 25 minutes. So people not coming into the pits just yet. Caliber stays out, Fred Dude stays out, someone pulls into the pits, it's Beetlejuice. 21 minutes, 30 seconds here for Stosiomili. Splash can definitely make 25 minutes work, but I don't think everyone, well, Charles pitting in at 20. Maybe that left rear is starting to give him problems. Opa in the super is also pitting in with damage to that front aero on that car. Did Charles get damaged? No. So those 2 cars did not. Maybe, I'm guessing Opa might have lag bumped into someone here because Charles doesn't have damage. And he was behind the Mazda here earlier. Their speed and slowly, effectively making the undercut on these guys. But with lap old tires and with the tire that they both had before they pitted, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can even make this second stint last long. Maybe with the lesser fuel, maybe they can run the fuel. Maybe they can run the fuel tank dry this time. And Caliber getting himself a 1-second penalty here. 1-second penalty that's effectively gonna be almost 2 seconds to cut into his lead of 14. Man, these guys are way too fast. And these tires are going to be right on the limit here, as that left rear doesn't look happy on that Mazda, and those left side tires that don't look happy on that AMG as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they will stretch to 25 minutes. Or you could alternatively pit this lap and just get that extra, find that extra minute somewhere in the next stint with lower fuel. Because people are gonna have to take fuel. It's not like they're gonna come in only for tires. You're gonna have to take fuel. On that end though, I don't think Dursby took fuel at all in his first stop. Slowly definitely did. Caliber already into the pits here. I think so will Fred. I don't think those cars can make another lap. So Caliber into the pits now. Lap 8, 24 minutes and a half. Maybe they have timed this just right. Yeah, I think they timed this just right. They're gonna come out of the pits 24:40 here for Caliber. Splash comes into the pits as well. Yeah, I think they timed this. Yeah, I think the timing is just right for these guys. Fred Dude comes out 25 minutes. Splash comes out 25:3. So yeah, this is the strat that they want to be on. So with 8 laps done, they're gonna have to pit again on lap 16 for Splash and Fred Dude, as well as Caliber, I think. Slowly with a 1 second penalty somewhere. I'm not particularly sure where you could cut to get a second. I'm guessing at the bridge, at the end of the bridge, where you turn in a bit too early and get on the green stuff. But besides that, I don't know where you can get a second penalty around here. Beetlejuice here, I think one of the earlier stoppers in the race. Let's scroll down the field to fix the. Yeah, it looks like they've definitely cut the greens there for. I think Caliber had it 1 second earlier, and FTR, Mr. Slowly has. Once again, definitely might have come from the greens, but yeah, if he's made to serve on this lap, I'm gonna guess he got it after the bridge. It's the thing, when you're on that sector and you get that penalty there, it doesn't let you serve that penalty right away. And the pit graphics just change whenever you go through the field. Mr. Slowly now, based on the lap time, is already on his third lap on those tires, and you can already see the difference. Yeah, it could also be turn one. I think in Slowly's case, it's the one after the bridge because he wasn't made to serve it on that lap. If it was turn one, he would have definitely been made to serve the penalty on the same lap. So after the first round of pit stops, we have the. This guy had a penalty earlier. Didn't even look like he had to serve him, but we have SBM with a 15.8 second lead over the AequepaX AMG. We can pretty much call this the GT3 Pro versus everyone else. But how fast that Mazda is. The action starts here in second. So it's Fred with a 2.8 second gap, and it's growing over the FTR AMG, was 1.3 ahead of Splash in the other AXR car, the Mazda. Beetlejuice in the AMG behind with 1.3 seconds behind, and with quite a sizable gap to Speedy Man Charles in 6th with a 10-second gap. But Beetlejuice did undercut everyone by a lap there, so he definitely owes them 1 lap's worth of tire wear. I think he pitted like 23 at the 20-minute mark, 21-minute mark. While everyone else is on the 25-minute stints. Dershby's definitely also one of the early pitters. He was one of the first two who pitted along with Mr. Slowly. But here has his hazard lights on, but he's not auto driving. That's not auto drive pace. Unless it is. Hold on. No, it's not. It's not auto drive pace. He just has his hazard lights on. for some reason. We'll never know. AXR Groot saying, we'll make SBM use the Mazda Group 3, Group 4 next week. Nah, I think that's too harsh. Just I think it's a bit too harsh. You could make them just be on Racing Hards instead of, you know, you just lock them to Racing Hards for the dry compounds. If you want to slow him down that much. Yeah, Fred already putting away here from Mr. Slowly. That tire wear on that AMG looks worse this time around. Or is it just me? He put it on lap 6, so he's already on his 5th lap. Well, at least it did have damage earlier. And he's running lighter in the second stint, so he might be able to make this set of tires last at least a lap longer. Splash, though, unable to close the gap. Not much difference in fuel wear here, so I guess Splash is just looking after the tires. While slowly stretching the gap out the Beetle just behind them. Charles, though, is running the same pace as Fred in front of him. So he's definitely the fastest car in the midfield. At least almost a second faster than the cars in front of him. It'll be interesting to see where Charles... When did Charles pit? Charles pit lap 7. So did Beetlejuice. So it was these two cars that pitted together. They effectively had a 1 lap undercut on the top 4. But that didn't seem to give them enough ground here. The ones who made up the most ground, I think, is Mr. Slowly and Derspieth with a 2-lap undercut. Then again, the tire wear really comes back to bite them quickly once the race unfolds, because that puts them in a strategy that's way out of sync with everyone else. 6 minutes, at the very least, 6 minutes off of the pit, you know, the pit sequence. 3 to Charles and Beetlejuice, and 6 to Caliber, Fred, and Splash, and Opa. Oh no, Opa also pit with... Oh, yellow flies here for... Oh, well, is that Charles? It is Charles. Front damage here must have spun on the way into the penultimate corner. No engine damage on that car, but that's something you want to... Oh, is that going to affect him, though? Comes into the pits. Opa as well with front damage and both front suspensions. Maybe that's what happened to him. And Derspy coming in for fuel because he didn't take fuel in the first go-around. He's now having to come in here for fuel. Charles taking fuel, repair the damage, so does Opa. And Charles going into the mediums here. Going on to the mediums to get himself back into, I think, the pit sequence. Certainly a good attempt, but that's going to be put to the test because Opa's behind him in soft, so On a shorter track, the mediums should be a second slower than the softs. But on a big track like this, it might even be 2. Might even be 2 seconds. With Charles putting on the mediums, I'm assuming to get back into the hit sequence. How quickly is Opa closing the gap, though, is the question. Because I think Opa came out of the pits 3 seconds behind, because he had to stay in the pits for longer because he had more damage to his car. And now he's already almost under 2 seconds here on the Mazda. Might even be close enough for slipstream range at the end of the lap. Fred stretching that gap to slowly to 5.7, and Splash is just keeping the gap similar here to the FTR AMG. Unless that front left is starting to give him problems. Should be pretty soon. And we saw FTR make 6 laps earlier before they had to pit. They're gonna go 1 better this time around. They're gonna head into lap 13. But already losing time to Splash and effectively Beetlejuice behind them. Their speed, Charles and Opa are already out of pit sequence. So unless something major happens, their next competition would probably be slowly. Whenever he has to pit. Oh, and Charles, Opa already within a second here of Charles at the end of the out lap. Definitely Opa gaining time, hand over fist over the Mazda. What was the out lap like? 306. If we look at their past ones, their past out laps were 305. 305s. Yeah, Opa already in striking distance. He might make a move here into turn 3. Not quite there yet. For Opa to make his strategy work against Charles, he has to get past him here in the infield. He cannot wait. Really close there. Opa just getting onto the gravel before the braking point, losing the rear, narrowly missing the Mazda of Charles. And he now has to gain that back. He has to gain back that time all over again. Race is unraveling here for Racing Team Finlanders. Meanwhile, the Mazda RX Vision GT3, that's actually a Group 2 in disguise, running 21.3 seconds up front, with pretty decent tire wear this go around. Still rear biased, but he is still on lap 13, and these guys, Caliber, Fred, and Splash, are due to make their next pit stop at 16. Slowly is now within a second of the cars behind, and that front left is almost going flat. That car even turned into the final corner. It does, barely. Now it heads into the pits. Lap 13. But now he does 7 laps on this stint. He is effectively 10 minutes off of pit sequence. It depends where he comes out and ahead of these guys quite comfortably. Airspeed ain't even near the final corner. He's already out of the pit slowly. The Opa now close. He was down 4 seconds after that half spin, and he's back up to 1.5 behind Charles. Now, the next go around, he has to be really careful about making, positioning the car wherever on track. He was catching up to Charles in corner exits, because that's where most of the time difference comes from different compounds. Also some mid-corner speed here in the high speeds. But he made a mistake of, I think he was trying to put his car, he was trying to open up the track a bit by going to the left, but he ended up going a bit too far left and onto the gravel. The only good thing about that spin was he didn't take Charles along with him, because we could have easily ended up pinballing the car, because he was going into that corner sideways. Here it is, where he had that spin earlier. Navigates it cleanly this time around. That puts him in a great position to get close to Charles. However, he probably will lose time in the next two corners, because those aren't overtaking zones. And he's gonna get closer to Charles more and more as he goes through them. His best shot definitely is out of the next long right-handed up onto the back straight. Good run out there is going to guarantee him a spot here. Yep. Can start to line up that Mazda now. If not on the kink, then definitely on the hairpin. Oh, he's gonna go for it here. He goes for it on the kink. Job done there. Now the next thing he has to do is stretch the gap, so he's gonna have a pit stop's worth of advantage over Charles the next time he pits. Zoba was able to make 8 laps. Oh no, he was able to make 7 laps on his first stint. He had to pit on lap 11. So he stayed on softs, but he's looking to make all the way up to 18. Meanwhile, slowly 23 seconds clear of dirt speed. I thought it was gonna be less than that, but apparently it's not, so okay, so the battle now, I think, is between... Oh! Where did he get that? Turn... We're well into Sector 2 here. That's a 1 second penalty he's carrying. Beetlejuice is due for a pit stop pretty soon as well. I think he's probably due in this lap. He went 7 earlier. Meanwhile, the top 3 are due for a pit stop next go around. In Caliber's case, I don't think it's quite 50. I don't think it's quite 50 minutes. But how far he is ahead of the field. For Fred and definitely for Splash, I think they're just gonna barely make it 50 minutes. The thing to focus now in the battle for 4th is for Beetlejuice, or for Slowly, to gain as much time as he can in Beetlejuice before he pits. Because the time lost here, based on the delta of the pit stops, pit stop makes your lap 327-ish. 325, so that's 22 plus on the out lap. 304, 325, yeah. Around about 23 seconds. Time lost there. And Beetlejuice is losing time hand over fist to Slowly here. But Slowly has a 1 second penalty, so he's gonna get at least 1.5 seconds back. Effectively, the gap is still 18 seconds. But I think that's more than enough for the undercut to work. Because assuming the pit delta is actually 23 for full service. And Beetlejuice might even take it to 25 seconds because he's filling up fuel from empty. Right, it's coming in. Let's see where this goes. Where's Mr. Slowly coming down the line now? I think he gets it. He gets the undercut really easily. By how much does he go over? Beetlejuice comes out of the pits here. Going into turn 1, we can see that gap, or what it actually is. .5 seconds. He was 18 down, and he came out 6.5 behind, or 6.5 ahead. So it's definitely 25 seconds. For a full surface stop. But he owes 2 laps of tire wear here. Mr. Slowly does. Either way, these 2 cars will have to pit 2 more times at least. Out of the top 3, the AXR Mazda looks like it really has the best tire wear out of all of them. But its fuel is looking worse than both of them. It's going to be fuel limited rather than tire limited. The Caliber now is rounding out the long right-hander after the bridge, coming up to the penultimate corner. He might have to come in this lap. I don't think he has enough fuel to make another. So yeah, it's 25, 50, 75, so they only have, or by the looks of things, it's going to be 24, 48, 72. Yeah, they only have to do one more stop after this. FTR is going to be on the back foot here. It's the battle for FTR is against Ocio Mealy rather than the top 3 because of how out of sync their strategy is to everyone else. With the pit sequence right now, Slowly is always going to find himself ahead of Splash whenever they have to pit, up until the last one, which is the next, or with the next 2 for Slowly, for the next 1, I should say. It might actually have to be the next two. Because with the pit sequence the way it is, slowly went 6, 13. Top 3 went 8 and 60. He's 3 laps off sequence. On Beetlejuice, I think went 7 and 15. Yeah, went 7 and 15. But these two, Slowly and Beetlejuice, are split apart by 1 lap in their pit sequence. Slowly always getting the undercut here. But Beetlejuice will have tire advantage by the end. Because if they're doing 8 laps again this time, Beetlejuice will definitely be able to close some of that gap to Slowly before he has to pit. Because Slowly will really run his tires to the limit to make 8 laps. Slides like that into the bridge aren't gonna help. There might be latency showing you some stuff that isn't really happening. Meanwhile, third speed, all 3.4 seconds ahead of Opa, and it's looking like it's gonna come down sooner or later. Charles already 11.6 down on Opa, which I don't think is a pit stop's worth yet. But as long as he can hold that gap, or he comes out closer, even ahead of Opa on their last stops, I think they're safe. Because I think Opa can make... When did Opa last pit? Lap 11. He's looking to go until 18, right? So he has 3 more minutes before he has to pit. I'm trying to work out where the strategy ends up converging between these two cars. Because unless Charles is going to the end, these strats will have to converge somewhere. What's more puzzling to me is how Splash isn't gaining time on Slowly. I'm guessing the second AXR car just isn't putting enough energy on those tires. Like it's got the best tire wear out of the top 3, but it's not got the out of the box pace that the other 2 cars have. It just takes time. It takes a while for it looks like it takes a while for the tires to warm up on that car compared to the others. Or Splash just doesn't work the tires as much as he usually would. Just trying to make distance here, essentially. But effectively, the gap between Beetlejuice and Slowly, which is the gap we're actually wanting to look at, is looking like it's going to be 8 seconds or 9 seconds, closer to 9 seconds. Meanwhile, in the Group 2 category, it's 32 seconds up front from Red Dude here, caliber 50. Surprised he hasn't put a lap time into the 259s. It really is just a pace difference here, because Caliber's averaging a lap time in the 301s, and Fred's really on a groove here, running 302s. He's not even doing anything really special to, you know, build a gap over slowly. His pace it's just that. He's just really consistent in the 302s that everyone else behind him is gonna have to try something just to catch up. Meanwhile, Splash is actually running in the 303s, so that other AXR car really is just struggling for race pace. Because even by the end of the stint, he was running 303s. Like, he's definitely that could explain why the tire wear is a bit better, because I think the car is just isn't set up to put a lot more energy into the tires. So he could go faster theoretically, but he has to work the car a lot more than he wants to, or more than he needs to. And I got the same people going in and out of the lobby. It's as if the first time wasn't enough of a warning to say that you're not welcome here. Yes, the race is still going. If you want to watch the race, go watch this stream instead. Going in and out of the lobby is going to be distracting for a lot of the drivers because the notifications inevitably pop up on the left. Charles now 18 down in Opa. He's lost a lot more time in the last 2 laps. He definitely did. He ran a 308 in lap 17 2 laps ago, and then 9 almost 10 in the last lap. And Opa's not really doing hot as well. He's running in the 4s and 5s. Probably because he's already caught up to dirt speeds Aston. And he's already going one further than I thought he would. I thought he would pit at 18. Now he's on lap 19 on the back of the Aston Martin. And the Aston Martin, I think, has to pit with him. Judging by the fuel numbers, at least. But with Opa carrying a lot more fuel than dirt speed, he might make the jump on fueling. Slowly comes in on lap 19. So he goes 6 laps on this stint. Okay. The tire might have been worse than I thought on the FTR car. Beetlejuice. For a car that's run 5th lap, those tires look pretty mint. Dirt speed comes in. Opa stays out. Opa stays out with that front left. Again, dirt speed is not his fight right now. His fight is with Charles, and the gap's already up to, I'm guessing, 20 seconds right now. 22 seconds even. Remember, a pit stop is worth 25. But it slowly got damaged. Okay. Oh, Splash is damaged. Okay. Where did he get that? Front left. He definitely lost position, the Beetlejuice here. Something happened to the AXR Mazda. And that could very well put Mr. Slowly and Beetlejuice back into play for the fight for the final spot on the podium. Obviously, Beetlejuice is out of sequence. But if Splash has to pit here, this is probably the worst time to pit. Oh, this is probably the worst time to pit. Because we're only 61 minutes into the race. It's 90 minutes. Most of these cars can only do 24, 25-minute stints. At most. Because of the tires. Maybe Splash can extend, I guess. He's had the better tire wear against Caliper and Fred, dude. If he pits now, he'll be right on the ragged edge to make it to the end and another set of softs. Not to mention, Beetlejuice will have to pit within the next 4 laps. And with track position ahead, I think Splash is on the back foot against both Slowly and Beetlejuice here. Definitely had a fuel to make it again. Splash stays out. Splash stays out. What the play might be is to pit whenever Beetlejuice does. Because if you can at least keep up with him, you won't have a lot. He'll only have to pass both Slowly and Beetlejuice when he gets back up. But on fresher rubber, I think he has a chance. Opa comes into the pits. I think he'll come out ahead of Charles. And he does. That strategy worked out in favor of Opa. And I don't know if Charles can get to the end on that set of mediums. Because look at the rear wear on that car right now. At carpet lap 11. At the same time as Opa. And we have at least 10 more laps to do in this race. So Charles, with that medium stint, has not only put himself vulnerable against Opa, he's already losing out against Opa, he's also put himself vulnerable against the Aston Martin. So things aren't really looking up for Scuderia Tiara right now. The Aston behind, 1.9 behind, is on new tires. He's already almost halfway through the rear tires in his medium set. Opa's just gonna run away from the front one. Meanwhile, Slowly has damage again. Front aero and front right. Where? What wall are these boys hitting for them to get that kind of damage? I'm struggling to recall what kind of right-hand turn would be so close to the wall that you get that kind of damage. Front left, I would get it. Probably whack the wall at the end of the final corner, you get front left. But to get front aero and front right, what are you hitting? That's just opened up the gap to the leaders now. Ain't it? The Group 2 Mazda is ahead by 40 seconds. Track's so big though, I don't think anyone's gonna get lapped this one. I'd be surprised if anyone does get lapped. Come on. You know you want that 259, go get it. You know, Fred's run a lonely race since probably lap 5. Because that was when Caliber started to just get out of sight, and that's when he started to like break away from P3 and the rest of the pack. So both these guys, our top two, SBM, Caliber 50, and Fred, dude, I've been running really lonely races this one. Been a lonely 90 minutes for these guys. Because the action's all the way down here in the midfield. And their speed already has passed Charles here at the start of lap 22. So that strategy really hasn't paid off for Scuderia Chiara, and they're finding themselves losing more time still on that old medium set against the cars in front with more softs, and ooh, goes off track, does a spin, narrowly avoids hitting the wall. Good stop there. Oh, don't scrape the wall. Don't scrape the wall. Yeah, it's all really gone downhill here for the 186 Mazda. Yeah, it ended up being one of those days here for Scuderia Chiara. It all really started when they got damage on lap 11. From wherever that was. It might have been, I'm gonna guess it might have been a 3-car pileup or just lag coming into play. Maybe. I'm guessing things here because I didn't really see what happened in that incident. So, but I think he has 6 on lock with the way it goes right now, because he definitely has the pace advantage over the Aston Martin. Even though, well, the Aston has one lap older tires than him, so he can go all the way to the end here. Opa. The more interesting fight happens here. Splash does come in the same time as Beetlejuice does, only with a 5.6 second gap. So it's 14 liters worth of fueling advantage. What does that translate to? And he also has damage repair to think about. Beetlejuice comes out, and Splash comes out after the damage repair, slowly comes into the pitch for damage repair now. The gap here is 5.6, 5.7, 5.9 seconds. So basically, with the fueling advantage that he has, Splash only lost a 10th from damage repair. So the fight is on here. 6.3, I think it settled at 6.3, so it might have been half a second. Not just a second, it might have been half a second gain from... He would have lost more time because he had damage repair, but because he had so much more fuel than the AMG, he only ended up losing half a second, and he's already starting to claw into the gap. Slowly, you had the most to gain from that scenario because of his crash earlier. And that's certainly not gonna help, going wide like that, giving yourself dirty tires. And yeah, effectively it's gonna make you miss the apex for the next one. I think if he hadn't had that damage, or that incident where he got that damage, I think he would be ahead of these guys. He didn't have to pit in that lap. And more, he still had healthy tires. He certainly would have been a struggle to make to the end there. Now these guys are comfortably making 20 minutes. Caliber pits into 23. Because he has enough of a gap already. I'm guessing this is to go for the fastest lap. Charles comes in with engine damage. Now we saw in that lap he had a lot of things go wrong on that lap, and it looks like he had more things go wrong because he's got engine damage. And I think that's Scuderia Chiara parking the car for this stint. Unfortunately for them, they're going to be finishing in 8th. Caliber is taking new tires. I'm guessing an attempt to go for the fastest lap here. He's built up more than enough of a gap. He had 44 seconds on hand. A tire stop takes what? 15, 17 seconds? And Fred has to stop for fuel again, I think. Oh yeah, they're in 24, my bad. So Caliber actually went in a lap early. He jumped in a lap early. The sequence would put them in pitting on lap 24. I think Fred will have to come in this lap. Splash, well, he put himself off sequence already after getting that damage. He's chasing after Beetlejuice effectively for P3. But it looks like Beetlejuice is holding on to that gap real good right now. The gap hasn't changed at all on that outlap. It stays steady at 6 seconds. Because I think Splash would gain time here in the infield because of that car being much more suited to the infield than I guess the AMG does. But he's probably going to lose a lot of time on the back straight. He's already like only on the interval between the first double right and the next one. He's already lost 3/10. Definitely struggling for, yeah, the struggle for straight line speed is really apparent in this one. It looks like Fred's coming in for his last stop. 15-minute stint, so he only has to do 5 or so laps. So it's gonna be a quick stop here for the AquepaX AMG. It's gonna be a run to the end. So slowly getting chased down here by Opa, but with much younger tires, I think 6.5 seconds is enough of a buffer for slowly to keep ahead of Opa. He just has to really keep it on track here because the past 5 or so laps have not been good to him in terms of consistency. Meanwhile, Opa is just putting down times in 303s and in 2s. Right here, making the stop, putting in way too much fuel, I think. For safety, that's a bit of too much of a safety buffer, but it works, I guess. And this car is running to the end on that set of softs and that amount of fuel. So is this guy. Caliber 50 in the Group 2 Mazda RX Vision GT. I couldn't even call it GT3 right now. In the Mazda RX Vision LMP2 with a 46-second gap. Oh, the Speedy Man Charles really electing to park the car because he also needs to rest up for Stint 2 because apparently he's gonna go solo for this 3-hour race. But yeah, I think it was a good judgment call, and if that was the case, then yeah, it was a good judgment call. Get yourself relaxed and ready for Stint 2 and you know, a short break's really gonna do a lot for just rest up your mental capacity in that one, because it, yeah, going into Stint 2 like that off of a string of mistakes is never really good. So hopefully we can see the Scuderia Chiara car make a charge up the field here in Stint 2. Meanwhile, it looks like the battle for third is going in favor of Stosi Umili. Holding a steady gap of 6-something seconds to the AXR Mazda. Splash just unable to make a dent in that gap to the AMG right now. And meanwhile, Mr. Slowly's are actually defending quite well against Opa. Actually stretched that gap a bit. That gap was 6.9 something seconds the last time we look at these guys last lap. Knock on wood, nothing happens on this stint, and FTR is looking at a solid 5th place finish. Was it just me, or did I hear a purple sector alarm on SBM Caliber 15? Goes wide out of that corner, gets himself half a second penalty to cut into that massive gap of 48.5 seconds in that LMP2 car. You know, I think I figured it out. AXR and Scuderia Chiara brought the RX Vision GT3. SBM put the RX Vision GT3 shell on top of the Mazda DPI. That's what's happened. Yeah, it's a Mazda, yeah. It's a Mazda DPI. Oh, is that gonna get him an additional penalty going wide out of the kink right there? Oh, he's safe. Apparently he's safe. And Beetlejuice just running personal best sectors here. The pace is pretty equal between these two cars. A little bit more towards the AMG than a Mazda here. Down the field to check if anyone has damage. So far, none. Everyone's kept it clean. You can see the gap just ebb and flow between Beetlejuice and Splash every lap, but it's really Beetlejuice just gaining time with the high speed stuff here. Well, I think he lost a bit more time in this lap than he did on the last one. I think he made a mistake somewhere. Or Splash's tires finally decide to kick in after 4 laps. Is that gap, because he's running I think a second faster this go around. Tenths faster there on that lap. Both cars running into both cars in the 302s in the last lap. 302.8 for Beetlejuice, 302.4 PB for AXR Splash. But with only what, 3 laps left? On both of those cars? Not sure there's enough there for Splash to get back into the fight for P3. But you never know, these last 9 minutes might be the most interesting 10 minutes we'll have of the race. Tire wear might come into play here in a bit, because Splash has effectively better front left tires. And the AMG. Well, again, you hear the fastest lap ping here for the LMP2 car. Is he gonna be in the 59s? Barely! Oh! Missing out by 51 thousandths of a second here. Man, you got 8 more minutes, go for it. Show us what that LMP2 chassis can do. Alright, let's ride along the lap here with SBM Caliber 50. So that's what's been catching people out. Going wide out of turn, what's that, 6? Yeah, it's turn 6. Still down on his time here in lap 28, as he used all of the tire available for that process lap of a 3 minute 0.051. Or does he have more in the tank? I think he does. I think those tires are still capable for one more good lap after this. Coming through the bridge here. 5.65 down on his personal best right now, so this lap won't be it. If we can set the car for a really good run here, we might see our first sub 3 minute lap in the next 3.5 minutes. With only a little under 5 minutes remaining left in this race. scraping the wall at the end there. Might have been latency. Doubt that's actually what happened on his POV. V10 Stunt, I think he might have already used the best of his tires on that lap 27. And both cars actually running their fastest laps so far in the race, with Fred Dude with a 301.7 there on lap 27. So the car is really coming alive. Oh, look at that. We look away for a bit and look what we have here. 4.2 seconds now between Splash and Beetlejuice, with 1 lap left to go for these cars. Both of these guys will only have 1 lap left. Caliber, I think, will have 1 more lap to go. Both him and Fred Dude look like they both have 1 more lap to do. I mean, Caliber already getting to the bridge with still 1 minute 27 40 1 hour 27 minutes 45 seconds. Yeah, the number 63 Mazda is due for another lap here. By the looks of things, so does the 88 AMG of AquepaX Racing. Tellingly, it would be Beetlejuice. This is Scuderia Stosillo Melee car. Would be the first to take the checkered flag. I'll have to wait and see. 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this race before the checkered flag comes out. Here we go. Race leader entering the final lap. Effectively, Fred Dude can slow down and take the checkered flag here. Thirty seconds left. Oh. THG Scuderia saying in the comments, if the 533 takes the checkered flag first, do they win? Well, we're about to find out. The 533 finishes in 3rd place, followed by the AquepaX Racing Mazda RX-7, the number 11 car, with a final gap of 2.1 seconds between the two of them. Just not enough time for Splash to get close here. I think the tires just came on a bit too late for the Mazda here. Checkered flag being shown for cars that are not a lap down. That is really great content here for PD. That is just amazing. Beetlejuice in third, Splash in fourth, slowly in the FTR car with a pixel left in the front left, finishing in fifth. Opa in the Supra finishing in sixth. Durspie's gonna take the line here in seventh place. Charles comes out of the pits to take the flag in P8. Hopefully he's rested up enough so he can do a fresh start here in Stint 2 coming up. And Caliber rounding the long right-hander coming up to the penultimate corner. The SBM Team Renmeister number 63 Mazda RX Vision LMP2 coming to take its 5th consecutive win of the season. A dominating win here. I missed this scene the last time around, not gonna miss it this time. The 63 car crosses the line to take the win here at Sainte-Croix. Gingerly crosses the line with that one. Meanwhile, a really solid drive here from the first actual GT3 car in the field. Never put a foot wrong in this race. And it shows. 23 seconds ahead of the car in third. Well, the chaos started erupting behind him. He just kept a cool head and ran his race basically. The number 88 AequepaX Racing AMG GT3 piloted by Fred Dude crosses the line in P2. Well-deserved P2 here. So the final results here for Stint 1. Caliber 50 in the SBM team's RX Vision. That's not GT3. This is an LMP2 concept. Followed by Fred Dude in the AequepaX Racing AMG. Scuderia Stosili Mili in P3 Beetlejuice. The other AequepaX Racing Mazda in fourth. FTR's Mr. Slowly finishing in fifth. Racing Team Finlanders finishing in P7. Herman Motorsports Durspie's finishing in P7. And Scuderia Tiara finishing a lowly 8th here for Speedy Man Charles. Hopefully, again, Speedy Man Charles doing the double here today apparently. So he's also going to be in the car again for Stint 2. Hopefully, they get a better result there for the next one. But this has been Stint 1 of round 3 of season 3 of the AequepaX Racing GT World Endurance Challenge here at Circuit de Sainte-Croix. So I'm gonna hand it over now to our Stint 2 commentator Sticks TC, which will be in a separate stream again. I think Groot announced it earlier that there'll be a new lobby for Stint 2, so watch out for that. And also the stream will be up shortly after it goes up. So again, it's been fun. It's been a fun 90 minutes here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.